Uh-oh. Australian Bat Squatch has joined us from Australia, Mr. Ashley Hall. Good evening, sir, and how are you doing tonight?
G'day to you, George. How's it going, Mike? How are you guys going? I'm doing fine myself. I'm just recovering from a massive weekend at Paracon Australia, so I might be a little bit phased out and a little bit rough, so I apologise for that.
Tell us about the event, because this was one of the first major events you guys have had, and I know people such as Ben Hansen were over there. I'm not sure. A couple of different people we talked about were going to be heading out to that, but apparently things went well then, huh?
Yeah. It's for international guest speakers. Yeah, definitely the biggest event we have here in Australia, and yeah, we all descended down upon Maitland in New South Wales, Australia. The event was held in an old prison there, and yeah, we had Ben Hansen came down, Jeff Belanger came down, Robert Murch came down. Mark Warbank and James Gilbert from New Zealand came down, so there was quite a few people with quite a few different I guess, perspectives of the paranormal, and just came and talked about what it meant to them and how it works over in their countries. And yeah, and of course Robert Murch put on a Ouija talk, and Jeff talked about legend tripping and time travel. We learned about cryptozoology in New Zealand, poltergeists in Asia. It was a massive event, and it was fantastic, and everyone had a great time.
And once you told them that you were affiliated with Mike Bowler and George Lopez, you were the center of attention, weren't you?
Oh, of course. I couldn't keep the women off me. That's my link to paranormal. Yep, absolutely.
That's fantastic. So you guys exchanged some numbers, some contacts, and I'm sure the Facebook connections just went flying left and right out there. But you said you had a whirlwind weekend. Was there, as there typically is here in the States when it comes to these paranormal conventions, the after party? So is that what you attended?
Yeah, absolutely. What was really great, like the days themselves and going to the workshops and the talks and the investigations was fantastic. But what really made the cherry on top is that the organizer, Alex Caius, he booked out an entire hotel. So this motel had 38 rooms, and pretty much 4/5 of them were booked for people for the conference, for the guests and the staff and the talkers. So every night there was a lot of what you could expect after an event like this. There was drinking, lots of talking, lots of chat, catching up, etc. So yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And on Sunday night after the event was over, it got a little bit loose. There may or may not have been some streaking. I can't go into that. It was quite crazy.
Fantastic. And now this is going to be something that they're going to do annually now?
Yeah, well, that's not my call. I'm not an organizer for this event, so that's going to be up to them. But it seemed it was definitely popular enough and large enough that it may go ahead again next year. So that will be fantastic, and I'll definitely be returning.
Did they take the I guess it's our little saying for Australia, but Australian for paranormal, did they use that for the weekend? It's important.
Dead air. Australian for paranormal.
Did they use that or no?
Well, I got myself and Pete were there, obviously, and we were standing around with some of the speakers. So we had Jeff and Robert and etc. standing around, and I was like, Pete does the soundbite for Dead Air Paranormal, and I actually got her to do it live for them, which I'm sure was quite a treat for all involved.
Speaking of that, actually, before we go too far, I'm not quite familiar with your Aussie term there, streaking. What does that mean?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you know how you might over there might have a big football game and some decides to take their clothes off and run out into the field?
We don't do that here in the U.S.
Well, okay, apologies. Must be an Australian thing, but yes, we may or may not have had one of our paranormal media. I won't mention names, Brad Scott, but he might have donned a cloak and ran through the party, not quite completely dressed. So that was quite a thrill, it was quite terrifying, to be honest. I didn't know what was going on, and I just to my room and had a shower, fully clothed, and scrubbed my eyes out. So that was that was probably one of the highlights for the weekend, definitely.
And I'm going to assume there was no alcohol involved.
Oh no, absolutely an alcohol-free event. I can't say it with a straight face.
All right. All right,
Well, actually, you just kind of said the wording wrong. It was free alcohol event.
Yeah, well, the hangover speaks for itself, I guess.
George,
Oh,
make sure
man.
you have that down for the next convention you attend there, that after a couple of drinks, you're supposed to take your clothes off with a cloak and dagger and run through the event.
This, actually, if you do it right, Ashley, you should be doing that every night during your tour.
There you go. There you go. That'll definitely lose us some numbers.
That's like
let's
the
get
accomplice edition, the second show of the night.